rainbow tickles and rainbow hugs. How's everybody doing? This is Joanna from the Early Morning Ascension Show. So happy to co-create with you today. And we've got a beautiful, beautiful another summer day. So excited. I just was doing some beautiful prayer work and some affirmations and just some connecting with spirit. And we had some beautiful channelings from our galactic tribes today. Yay! And so I thought I'd share that information with you about all the energies that we've all been feeling, these sensations of something going on in the collective and these shifts and these rumblings. And we all know that the Adam and Eve project is allowing everybody to see where we've given our power away through the eons of our own lifetimes that are going to be coming up to be purged and cleansed and rewritten and reevaluated to reflect upon where we hold control of ourselves and expression of ourselves, the experience of ourselves, the exploration of ourselves, because it's all an inner battle, it's all an inner conflict. And therefore we attract it in those that are outside of us or those that are also moving through that same control and release energies. And so they were telling me that they've been galactically deep in many of our lifetimes, not only here, but in our planetary experiences in other realms, and they're being cleansed right now in a galactic perspective. So it's really important for us to keep that in mind too, that we are multidimensional beings going through an incredible ascension multidimensionally, and it's so very exciting. And when you give yourself enough time to tune in to the profundity of the bigger picture, the bigger scale of what's really going on, it just allows you to relax a little and just have some more fun and treat it like just relaxing into it and allowing these big, profound energies to flow through you, just to flow through you, and doing breath exercises and breath practices on Gaia, just touching the grass and just letting her know that you're here and letting the grids know that you're connected. Connect with the earth a couple of times a day. Doing breath work is really important. That just helps you slow everything down, calling in any and all fragmentations that might be chaotically and erratically moving around and wanting your attention. Oftentimes that happens with those that are not grounded, with those that are highly empathic and energetic, but just don't know they are and don't know how to care for their bodies or their energies. And moving through self-harm or chaotic environments or abusive situations, their energies are very erratic and chaotic. And so if you're around them, you're going to have to ground and, anchor your light as well. And just teaching the children how to do that daily, it's really important to empower, encourage, and inspire them to really care for their bodies and be in nature as much as possible, so that they're remaining in their light. They're not going to be thwarted by any outside agenda. They're not going to be thwarted by any outside, wants or needs of them, and they're going to stand firm in who they are and what their body is showing of them as goodwill for them. Listening more to your body, how you feel. Those are the Ascension techniques that we're going to keep practicing and bringing up for reminders, because we want you to connect more deeply to the planet. That connection to the planet, which they just showed me tonight, is allowing you to sense those heightened and amplifications of, we might feel as anxiety like we did when COVID first started occurring, those of us that were conduits and empaths. It was really profound, and it was mind-boggling how much anxiety came from the collective when that occurred. But it feels similar, but it's much different this time. This time it's a bit of an anxiety now that I've been mastering those emotions and feelings from a collective level, and now just navigating around it through the wisdoms that I've gained. So knowing that too, when you're a healer, when you're an empath or a teacher, you can feel the things occurring in the collective, and then to suss out what those energies are through your own daily reflection and your self-care and your own inner asking of, what is it that I'm feeling? Because the Merkaba of you is coded. And if you're not grounding and clearing out your fields, and you're not tuning into where and how you're getting those communications, then it can feel very erratic, and you can feel as if you're all over the place. And you want to call all of your energy in, call it all in, and be this harmonized energy of light, this packet of light that is aligned, and you're directing that energy of light. You're directing their intention and how you're going to harmonize and co-create in your own light with Gaia, as above and so below, and you are the vessel in between. You are that vessel of that bridge of ascension, but you have to direct it and command it, and allowing your body to know that in all moments we're using our past experiences, the wisdom of the choice of now, grounding in presence and peace, and then allowing ourselves to come out into something new, come out into something new, come out into something new. But that can only occur when you're accepting and honoring what is, being in the acceptance of, claim it for what it is. If there's those in your life that are not serving you, if there's those in your life that are, making your path harder than it should be, then claiming what you're feeling and owning it, and not excusing yourself or excusing the poor behavior of others to be just a cautionary experience. If you're feeling the same vibration and sensations, and your teams are giving you those hints and those transformative cues to leave and move on, then leave and move on. Because you're not doing anyone any favors by enabling the continuation of the degradation of your light and your soul and your spirit. Everyone has the opportunity to grow and to change. And so return those empowerments. You're not there to fix or heal anybody. You're there to simply live your best life. And in doing so, you allow others their greatest chance to also see themselves differently. And also keep communicating with your higher self and your connective teams that you're all belonging with in the galaxies. Because we're all amplifying at a collective level, what they were showing me is, because we're feeling the anxiety and we know something's shifting in the collective, what does that mean for you in the wounding that you're moving through right now? What is your ascension cycle? When do you go through your releases? And then how can you integrate greater reflection time and integration time, so that you can start sussing out the collective energies and your energies and start harmonizing as one, by seeing what's in your collective and sending light and sending the knowingness for creation of better programs, better healing, higher vibrational healing systems, and higher vibrational leaders that can create and inspire vibrational oneness, and the 5D leaderships that we're all aching to see and come forward. And what does that mean for you when you're reviewing and reflecting the Adam Eve project? How have you been affected and infected by subjugatory roles and definitions or belief systems? And how can you transcend that? It's directly related to everything that's foundational about our preparation for light ships and first contact and seeing it. For those of you that I've been dealing with on a personal basis for many, many years in our sessions and our coaching, my galactic tribe, you can put your comments below or just send me an email. Those of you that are feeling the increased, really incredible experiences that you've had in the subtle realm, in the astral realms that are now coming to your physical realm, because they have been quite profound. I've had some really incredible experiences of the shifting. Many of us are in between worlds right now. We're leaving 3D and we're moving into this 5D template. Template is all vibrational because of our intentions and how we've been alchemizing through the past, however many years Ascension has been going, 1987. And so we've been creating these templates in our higher realms and in our consciousness, higher sleep times, and in our daily consciousness times, connecting to the center of who we are, co-creating with Mother, Father, God, our higher selves, and creating as the child of joy. And those really start creating those templates that are now unfolding in the physical. That's why it's coming back so much faster now. So really paying attention to who you are, what you exist within, and what exists within inside yourself, and really transmuting those triggers and those energies that come up moment for moment for moment. And really allow yourself to gauge what is really triggering you, and to take yourself away from those triggers. There's a difference between being constantly triggered and forcing yourself into those energies, like bad environments and negative toxic environments that are constantly having you keep yourself in defense and prove yourself and work hard and work this, and all of those negative energies and those egoic energy environments. Or is it a trigger that's merely allowing you to look deeper into a wound or a belief? So discern the types of triggers, and we all know what they are. When you've been through abuse and when you've been through trauma, there's a difference. If something is inspiring you to look into more of who you are and expand your beliefs through oneness and through acceptance and accountability and acknowledgement of who you are as a profound alchemist, the wizard that we all are, as I wrote in my post this morning. We're cosmic wizards, and we all have the potential to transmute. But it's up to each of us to do that reflection time every day. Why did I get triggered? What was it showing me? How could I respond in a more healthy way for myself that's accepting and loving and honoring of all light and all spirit? The biggest key that we've been shown for many years is balance. how can we maintain a greater sense of balance mentally, physically, emotionally, and energetically? And we all know I speak about this every day with people that are just awakening and wondering how to improve their lives and how to improve their health and their youthfulness and the energies that are in their homes, because there's so much that's changing and everybody's feeling the same thing. And it always begins with the unhealed wounds that are within us that create that mental instability, psychosis, the physical and the emotional wounds that turn into disease and illness. So understanding that we are multidimensional beings that really encapsulate so much vibrational experience. And unless we're alchemizing that experience through the blocks, whatever we want to call it in human words, they're just patterns and packets of emotion that must be cleared so that we can reharmonize it in a greater sense of our wholeness of the Merkaba. The Merkaba code holds everything. So if we're not clearing out those little packets of density that show up in our everyday life through our activations of our cleansing of our chakras, or the triggers that you call in because you have a belief system within your field, or an imprint that you're meant to change and shift, recognize it as a historical issue, like the Adam Eve project. Those of us that are conduits, those of us that can hold codes, those of us that can transmute and translate codes, we have those bigger, grander collective stories so that we can communicate and offer it to the whole and have them projected as a musing. How have you been going on in history with such belief systems, with such core, staunch beliefs about the suppression of who you are and where those stories came from? And what is it allowing you to shift in this now moment so that you can bring greater balance to your now reality? Because each of us are rewriting that 5D, and we must approach these big collective issues, the collective issues of subjugation of the self, of all peoples, the inequity that has occurred in all vibrational arenas of the elderly and the children and tribes and the indigenous and wildlife and nature, Gaia, divine feminine. And now we're each seeing many aspects of the divine masculine collective being brought up to be healed. And we're seeing so many divine masculines around us going through such challenges and turmoil and even, tower moment after tower moment because of their unhealed wounds that are egoically having to be faced and egoically having to be surrendered to spirit for transmutation so that they can live from a space of spirit and own their divine feminine energies and own their divine masculine abuses, the abuse of power, because it's allowing us to see who we are as a community in a new way. The whole Adam and Eve project is about what most staunch beliefs do we have as a collective? How can they be uprooted and shaken about so that you can come back down and start from scratch? How can that be done so that there is no abuse of power and not one person thinks of themselves as a leader of the people, when they've clearly not healed themselves and they're making poor choices with respect to land and resources and the people, care for the people. What 5D leadership and how does that look like for you? And how can you see your everyday moment for moment as ways that you can forgive and move forward in your self-love and self-care? When we look at many of the unfoldings that will be coming in the future, as we've seen much happen, especially in the entertainment world, many of the abuses of power, with, the sex industry and what's been the sexual degradation within certain industries and how that's affected so many people, even the underage, those that are underage, and how they've looked up to us for guidance and clarity and higher levels of self-awareness and self-dignity and self-empowerment. Now we've really let them down. That it's time for us to really start rewriting these powerful stories so that we really put light and shed light on all of those aspects of our reality that will be ready to come up for rewriting, and how we've allowed such things to occur in our communities, and we've each had the red flags in our lives to bring those energies forward, to put and shed light on it so that they can be start to bring forward communication in a responsible way. Where do the core wounds result from? Where do they stem from? In sexual abuse. Sexual abuse is the woundings from the generations before, and they become another person's wound because they're not dealing with those wounds within themselves. And then they create these debaucherous lifestyles that start creating underground and corrupt monies and secret societies and all of these things that eventually eventuate in corrupted communities with great crime and great anguish, because it's just cycles of pain perpetuating itself. And it all has to be rewritten, because those that abuse have been abused. And then it just continues the abuse cycle to the innocent ones that are coming forward every day expecting a higher resolution for humanity and how it's being led. And each of us becoming our own leaders to know that our voice does matter. Your unique stories really do matter. And how are we going to lead a new community into self-love and self-healing, and perpetuating self-care now, so that these things don't occur in our communities. Leaders of the community are meant to uphold a higher standard for the people. They're meant to uphold higher potentialities for the people. They're meant to empower and support and guide in ways that move beyond the beyond. But many of the leaders that we have today, as we're being shown, that are kind of being pulled out one by one for the lack of integrity. And we're getting down to the crunch now, where those that are moving forward in New Earth Ascension will be those that are truly going to be committed to being of benevolence and commitment to the betterment of the communities. And that's giving everybody an opportunity, because it's always free will, and spirit will always honor the highest level of free will. There's no good or bad path, because we all needed those negative experiences to see, wow, this really needs to be healed and cleared. And those people were very courageous to play those roles for us. And so it's all required and it's all needed. We were all a part of creating everything that we consider to be abhorrent, each and every one of us. And that's why judgment, is going to have to be healed through that process as well. And it's not going to heal anything through judging of it. But it's the core wounds that need to be healed, so that there are no more crimes of the soul and there's no more crimes of the community. And we really start believing in the integrity of the community, and really start believing and calling forward higher vibrational leaders and higher vibrational teachers, really praying in that light into those spaces that have been dark and that have been withheld and that have been secretly hidden away, because that needs to be brought forward for healing. And so it's giving the opportunity for everybody. What part of the Earth program and Earth story do you want to be a part of? Everyone's getting an opportunity now. Do I want to be a part of the positive contribution to creating a better Earth? And what part do I want to play? Because it's all being turned out right now, and all of the soul's choices are being shown, and everybody is giving a very blatant exercise. What part do I want to play? And so those that want to play benevolently will have their opportunity, and those, because there will always be given opportunities. But you must absolutely show your devotion to being a part of that benevolence, and through your own making it right, through what does your soul need to make it right. And that's by going within and using your own inner guidance. Spirit's been giving many, many opportunities over eons. It's not new. It's not new. It's not a new language that, light workers are speaking. The Ascension was initiated in 1987, and tribes have been preparing for this one lifetime for many, many eons. And so it's a common rule on our planet: treat others as you would be treated. And so these wounds have to be healed, and they have to be acknowledged. And so not taking accountability and not facing one's own life and one's own, creation will only delay and create denial, which will perpetuate karmic cycles, and the healing would just won't occur, which then the wounds then perpetuate and the cycles perpetuate. But everybody's given the chance right now to truly take conscious choice. What part of the Earth do I want to be a part of? Do I want to continue in the perpetuation of lack of integrity, of being destructive to communities by certain underground behaviors and activities? Or do I want to create choice in which I can change and I can choose to be of a vibration that is light and good for my soul? Because we all know how anxiety feels. We all know how depression feels. We all know how dark nights of the soul feel again and again and again. And so what's been happening in our collective is this big overturn of the Adam Eve project. Where have we given our power away? Why have we allowed abuse to continue for so long? Why have we allowed the anger and aggression to be so prevalent when it really can be resolved? And just having those conversations, how can you get healing? How can you bring balance to those wounds? How can we ensure that no other child will be wounded from here on out? And have that be as a status of our new integrity. No child's innocence should be taken away because of a selfish agenda. None. Because a certain sect of people are not being accountable and don't want to heal their wounds, or perpetuating in selfish cycles where other bodies are being used for their own gratification. Those are deep crimes of the soul, and all are affected. All are affected. I, as an empath, understand and I know. As a conduit, I'm shown into those tunnels and those pathways so that I have access to those emotional wounds, so that I can understand how to create healing programs. So there's things that I'm shown and there's things that I know. And I wouldn't wish it upon anyone, especially innocent children that have come in honor and in knowing that they will have a safe home, that this place will be a good place for them to learn about how to challenge limiting beliefs and fearful beliefs, but never to ever have their bodies placed in harm by adults that are supposed to look after them and care for them. So if these energies are triggering, then go within and start pulling up those wounds that require you to heal your own. Because those are parts of the collective healing that every single person on this planet will face. Because there's many things that were coming forward to be healed. There's many things that were coming forward for us to reunite and harmonize into better healing programs, into how to care for the people that have done the wounding, so that no other cycle of wounding perpetuates. And we create higher integrity systems so that no crimes of the soul will be committed on anyone in any way. There's no need for it. There's no need for crime. We have the intelligence and the wisdom to heal every wound. That's life transformative. That is changing an entire planet. That is one of the most key factors of our planet, of all illness, of all disease, of all lack of abundance. That one statement that I just said, there is no need for crime. And whatever mental state and mental belief system someone sits in and say, there's no way you can eradicate crime. That's where that consciousness sits. And those are the belief systems that have to be worked out. Otherwise, that will be the earth that will be experienced. But I absolutely know there is no need for crime. It can be all healed. And each person is given the free will to heal it or not. Either way, everyone returns to source. But why perpetuate a cycle where children and innocent people don't have to be harmed? I was innocent and I was harmed. Still healing through PTSD. So I understand what innocent children and their light being taken away and their voices not being heard. I understand it at a very deep level. And there's no need for it because it perpetuates imbalance and illness and disease as you become older, and your system of belief in what reality really is, the system of belief in the good human will, in the goodness of others. How do we create a good, happy community where children aren't pushed into so much abuse that they create violence in their teens and in their adulthood, perpetuating even darker system? And these are all systems of control. They're matrix programs of control and fear for greed. But we know enough now to just release them because they're all illusory. No one has control over you. No one did and never will, regardless of what is said or thought. You're an independent being with spirit. No one has control over you, ever, never will. And so begin there. So reclaim your power, your voice, and your choice to know what's really good for you and standing in that power and reclaiming it every day. I reclaim my power to create is love. I reclaim my power to be the vibration of love, to be the illumination of love. I know who I am. Nobody's going to take that from me. And I'm going to continue speaking. I'm going to continue getting up, and I'm going to continue coming to the table every day with something new. I'm not going to step down. I will continue to rise because I do have a beautiful voice, and it requires sharing because I do have beautiful galactic and cosmic truth that can help humanity return to oneness and peace and abundance and have all children safe so that they never harm and worry and have anxiety to the point where they get sick because they're so worried about their own safety. And whose right is it to do that to a child? And so we say, dear lighted ones, stand up. Stand up. Stand up and be counted. Where does your voice suit? Where are your values and your morals to what earth you want to create and co-create? What would you like to change within yourself right now? Whether it's a belief or a negative self-talk, whether it's a lack of confidence to really speak your truth, regardless of what others say. Your path is here for you. You're here to speak for your path, for your truth, no others. This is my truth, and these are my knowings, and I'm here to share. There is no one right way, but we're here to share in the higher integrity of what we have potential for and of, because we are spirit, multidimensional beings, and there are ways we can heal multidimensionally and really ascend our planet, psychology, philosophy, in our higher values of education, and really how to create these beautiful, beautiful children that are magicians and beautiful, incredible leaders of our planet that we've completely ignored and turned off, distracted. How many times do you go out into your public and you see families sitting at a table with their children? How often, more than not, do you see the parents on their devices and their children are just looking at them, waiting for them to engage? We all do it. But how can we change and engage? Release what distractions and just sit on the grass and just talk and be. And give them affirmations and empowerment to return their power to their voice, to create their empowerment of their own choice, to have absolution in their bodies, to know that they can feel exploratory and wise within their bodies, and have no other person touch it or abuse it or negate it for its own safety. And continue asking and continue seeking until someone really listens, because your voice is worthy to be heard. Yay! So let's talk first contact. DNA and first contact. That was my asking of the collective. DNA and first contact. Your DNA is in direct alignment to the preparation of your first contact. Because I've been feeling these really incredible and strange alchemies of transmutations and things that have been going on. And so all these beings started to come forward because they were waiting for me to connect. These really exciting times that are coming. The Galactic Center came forward to speak from the 4th quadrant of the Aries constellation, and also some beings from the 7th, from Sector 7, and from my own starship that I connect with. And I'll leave their information out because it's my personal connection with these people and these beings. Yes, we've been trying to connect with you, Joanna, waiting for you to prepare for these first contact discussions. Preparations are becoming more and more obvious for you. And we have been taking you up in light ships in your rest time for greater healings and transmutations. And that's what when you're coming back on these journeys, and many of you have written me and told me about your incredible experiences, and you wake up with these certain marks on you and stuff. It's happened to me, and I've actually shared some pictures of that with some of you. And this is always about your evening and what you're doing in the higher realms of play, and you're on light ships and you're being healed, and all of your bodies are being re-alchemized to what your next mission is. And so there's lots going on, and your body is just reacting in certain ways because, for many reasons. For one reason, you wanted that visual proof that yes, I'm working with my teams and my guides, and they're always working with me, and I have that knowing. And so those are your validations for your own communications and your own dynamics with your teams, and knowing that you're constantly being worked on by loving beings. So have those communications and have those discussions before you go to bed at night, and just say, leave me some hints and leave me some energies in my dream time so that we can all be on the same page of what I'm working through. And then ask, I'd like this to be worked on while I'm in my sleep time tonight. Remember, you're the leadership, you're the commander of your own body and your own trip. There have been many, this is just for me about those many beings that were trying to block me from being my full self. And so they were just reaffirming that there's no more blocks in my way. Things are being moved out of the way, and no one will stop the greatness of your gift, which is the essence of love that I have to emanate. For your love is a treasure, and many deserve to feel your love. The stirrings on your earth can inspire many to walk in anxiety or fear because they haven't been awakened yet. They're not being told or communicated to about the awakening process and how their gifts, psychic and telepathic gifts, just awaken them to these strange feelings and sensations. Because again, you're a multidimensional being with much communication potentials and how you communicate as a multidimensional being is very sensory. And so much of what you're sensing is the whole collective moving through these changes, which aren't being communicated because what's in the social reality is usually fear, control. And so when you're finding and sharing such high vibrational informations and healings like my channel, you're going to get information that allows you to kind of understand what you're going through, so you don't put yourself in more anxiety and illness. So what you are feeling is the amplification of your one heart and your planet and the love for each other coming together at all one time. And they're also saying that our galactic teams are also sending down lots of love for us to also connect in it. And it's new for us, our bodies and our minds and our ways that we use to communicate and sense information, because we've always been sensory beings, but we've been communicating and sensing from an ego point of view, safety, win-win kind of thing. But now we're changing. So now we can start knowing that what we're feeling too is a lot of love vibrations and love codes that we've never felt before, because we are, again, preparing for first contact. And those high vibrational, unconditional loving codes are different for us. So the bodies and the sensing systems just go up into, what's that? Like when somebody has been traumatized over longer periods of time or berated over long periods of time, when they actually are around somebody that's loving and caring, it takes a while for them to break down those defenses and to heal those wounds before they actually feel the love that is being offered. The segment of space, so throughout your galaxies, much in the way of upgrades are being offered, so that the washing away and the helping to transmute galactic war zones are being offered. And much is being inspired from those of you on Earth transmuting each day through your day-for-day self-care, so that each and every time you do, you're moving towards greater unity. The segment of space that we are in is also moving through dramatic upgrades, and is like for us a tidal wave of love that is shifting us to a much greater path. And so when they're shifting in the energies that all of these light ships, because they live on light ships, their homes are on light ships, and they're moving through this sector of space, and they might be positioned and levitating. And this whole city, these beautiful cities of light ships are just sitting in these beautiful sectors of space. They can have an experience of feeling like if they're on a rocket ship, or what are they called? Roller coaster, and the roller coasters are going through ups and downs and ups and downs. And for us to just get used to riding the wave, we don't have to give it any name or any title, but release the fear about it and just say, wow, this is a great tidal wave, because we know we're all moving to greater love. The more that we release, the more that we let go and transmute, the greater love we'll all experience. But we can just relax in it. It's just a great big ride. It's a big ride. So offering your hand to another in greater balance and a higher knowing, you are all becoming more universally aware, and this truly is the highest gift of your all oneness. So even as hard and as challenging as it is, to know that even in your challenge and your strife, you can still offer a hand to another, and you can still reach out to another, or you can still make something right to another. And that's bringing the oneness that on these galactic war zones that we've all been a part on. And there's great energies coming from the central sun and coming from Mother, Father, God, and all of these beautiful galactic, thank you. Those beautiful birds up there singing. They seem to join us every time. There's lots and lots of love in these beautiful loving light codes. I'm seeing color waves of these beautiful energies just washing through those parts of space that are transmuting all of those energies, which will help us in our transmuting here, instead of the pull of right and wrong and good and bad and black and white and all of those polarities and dualities that have to go along with creating order. We have to see what we don't want to see and know what we want, so that we can create better choice, higher values, self-love, self-care. And in those transmutations, we're allowing ourselves to know what that's also going on in other places and why we feel so intense sometimes. But we don't have to make the mistakes by doing more harmful acts. We can choose to release it now and have spirit and source and your teams and your guides helping release those deep wounds of control, and get to the bottom of it and resolve it. Control issues are about your own safety. What parts of your childhood felt out of control? What parts of your childhood felt unsafe? And start healing those wounds and start healing the illusion of those beliefs. Okay, so they were saying how we're seeing collective change. Your TVs, I remember back in the day, your TVs were used as such a distraction. And sometimes they would come to us through versions of TV shows. You know, people would create these TV shows just to remind us of our greater celestial family. But now there's handheld devices that we find distraction in. And so when we're not connecting with the planet, we're not connecting with one another in a human way, in a spirited way, we feel those disconnections, and then it brings on anxiety and fear because we don't know where our basis point is, our center point for hope and peace and stability. Because the collective is really looking for that. Everyone that they see in their collective communities now, the leaders that they thought they believed in are now being pulled out from their lack of integrity. They're being pulled out from their lack of stability. They're being pulled out from their poor choices and lack of care for their people. And those things will be shown, and there'll be evidence for all to choose better and wiser. And they've played very powerful roles for the community. And so they've been very brave in their roles so that the community can see for themselves, what do you really want your communities to look like? Spirit gives us all free will. And we're at a point now where, what have we given power to as far as a great president? Have they lived up to that role? Have we given our power away to people that really didn't give a crap about us and have no idea who we are? And what truly is going on behind the closed doors? We need to discern and allow ourselves higher vibrational knowing, and higher vibrational leadership is possible. All wounds are healable, and there's no need for crime. There just isn't. And you can argue till you're blue in the face, but those are the beliefs and the consciousness that you sit within. And so there's where you begin. There's no need for murder. There's no need for unkind acts. There's no need for control. There's no need for binding of any kind. There's no need for anybody to be locked away and to be kept in drastic measure of any sort of goodness of life. Those are all very barbaric experiences, and it damages the soul, and everybody suffer. So we must, as a collective, rise to higher attunement to what we are really, really capable of. And many of us have to go through great suffering and great pain and great distortions so that we can see through the darkness, and we can see through the deceit, and how steep the deceit really is to continue such programs of fear and greed and control. So when you sit with spirit, you will open up to what your planet and so much more has to offer than any device could. However, we all appreciate the portal through which you all connect through, and how you connect to one another, because your devices are just another way for you to connect. How may you travel beyond the ideologies that you've always been set within, and what powers have you given away to those old ideologies, which again goes back to the Adam Eve project. How can we start rewriting our concept of humanity and our concept of community? What does community really mean to us? What do the powers that be in our community really hold of us to us, and how have we given our power away to those that didn't truly deserve that power for the running of a integrous community? And where do monies go, and how can we realign through that video I recently updated again through the governance, and which gives a short channel on how in the future we will align with the grids, 5D grids from the heaven to the earth, and create that cutting out of the middleman, so that the monies can most be held in the greater good of the people. And we don't need all the red tape, and we don't need all these other parties and bodies to create the influence of where money goes, when it can just directly go to the people. Many things will change, like pharmacare and medicines and things like that, because we will be healthier. We'll be getting and creating health on our planet. And so much will be changing over the next 20 years. You have held yourself separate from what you love and from what you most want to create, and again rely on nothing outside of you. But we find it somewhat nonetheless than spectacular. That this is what they were talking about, the experiences that I've gone through, and I was asking them about it. And so they were saying that how we've held ourselves separate from what we want to create most because of the distractions, and how we've been held back, and how we've had those belief experiences and moving through dark nights of the soul in our transmutation process. So they were saying they found it nothing less than spectacular. Your world views in the coming years will change as you become more self-loving and self-valuing, and how much inner resolve you see of yourself for caring for yourself daily, and knowing what it truly takes to transcend such limitations. Because we were talking about and reflecting upon how much limitation has been pressed upon me with the enormous amount of spell work and the enormous amount of control that outside parties and bodies wanted to to affect me so that I wouldn't shine, I wouldn't speak, I wouldn't create and connect with my gifts and connect with the soul blueprint of who I am, or whatever their ideologies were and reasons, whatever they thought they were in control of, wanting me to stop and not do, to transcend all of that, because outside energies, nothing matters. It's about the inner that creates, and releasing those wounds as soon as they come up. I release that wound, it's not there. I release that wound, it's not there. Because they're partly connected with galactic wars. And there are some very traumatic events that spiral into each other. And some have been at the hands of others, not wanting to let you go, or letting themselves level up in their own way. But know of your own recognition of what you have gone through, for that is its highest healing. So know of your own recognition. Wow, I went through that and I got through it. I got up the next day. The next day I put my brave face on, and the next day I got up. I learned to love myself a little bit more. I learned to say something new. I learned a new mantra. I learned to affirm just a little bit greater. I learned to clear my chakras a little bit better. So all of those things are your ways to navigate through challenge, so that you can always know and stay humble. I understand what it means to be in pain. I understand what it means to be suffering. I understand what it means to be knocked down again and again and again, ruthlessly, without reason or purpose. I understand what it means for have my voice not being heard again and again and again. And so that's why I am the voice for children. I am the voice for those that have been disenfranchised. I am the voice for the Adam Eve project, and how we can all allow ourselves that inner conflict resolve. Because whatever conflict is going in about your voices not being heard, the imbalance and inequity of what you've been going through, the inequity of how someone has abused you, the inequity of how someone has treated you, that needs to be resolved. Otherwise, it's just a projection out, which just creates more wounding. Heal thy wounds before they become another's. And those projections are powerful because everybody feels it. And there's where the imbalances and anxieties get felt, especially with the children. Your children feel everything, make no mistake about it. And after time, they end up closing down because they can only take so much fear of their own safety. And then especially if they're being treated in any other way that is harmful to their bodies and that is going against their own free will. They are crimes of the soul, and they affect everybody. And everyone will be a part of resolving this issue, so that there will be no more traumas. It's not necessary. The traumas are not necessary. Every person has gifts and skills and wisdoms and intelligence within them to create the highest level of health, the highest level of abundance, the highest gifts that they can express and explore and experience with profound beings all over the universe. The world and the illusions that we have created about beating and winning and titles and egocentric abilities to power over others, they're gone now. They're not there anymore. There's still energies that want to play in those cycles, but it's not there anymore. And when we talk about it, it even seems so far-fetched. I can't believe that even happened. It sounds so far away because our consciousness is so much faster now. We're contributing to greater light. We're healing with greater potential. We're carrying that greater light, and all that was hidden is going to come forward. It just must, because we're not going backwards. We're not going back to darkness. And we're not going to be okay with innocent people being hurt and harmed when their voices are not being honored, or there's being corruption and manipulation and war of the mind and the mental and the emotions, and they're being entrapped mentally and emotionally and vibrationally. How is any of that okay? It's not okay. And there's people that recruit those that are feeling lack of self because they know they're easier to manipulate and call into their agendas. How is any of that okay? Going against every vibrational law and natural law of our universe. Everybody's got to face their choices. It's a choice. And so what are the limitations, and how have they been through our ancestries, even deep for 700 years? So some of the lineage wounding that we each heal is 700 plus years of limitation. When you're healing, for instance, alcoholism, and alcoholism is just that retreat into giving up, that retreat into, I can't do this, not strong enough, and that lack of confidence. It's because of those inequities that we faced in the Adam Eve project. How we've been as men and women throughout times, how we've been subjugated, how we've been, how we've been corrupted and infected with these low vibrational beliefs of less than and inequity. And so some of these go back 700 years. So that's what they were saying. When you actually sit and acknowledge what you've been through, It's a grand feat, and there's much celebration across the universe. Very few could have come in this lifetime and transcended such occurrences, to get up again and again and again and say, no, I will be heard. My voice does matter. I know what I experienced. I know who I am. And I will be the voice for those that have been forgotten. I will be the voice for those that couldn't get through it. Because my ancestors are worthy of it. My ancestors are worthy for me to carry the voice that I knew I could. And so could you. That's why you're here. That's why your ancestors protect you. Because they know how hard it was to break free of a vast limitation, especially addiction. Or when you've been traumatized and you've been berated your whole life. And then you're meant to get up and feel strong about yourself when nobody else believes in you. Those are profound, profound, profound successes that transcend 700 years, 800 years. So when you can look at that and say, wow, see, I don't think of these things until my teens bring it to me. 700 years of cycles, 700 lives that have not been able to break addiction. And you did. Whether it's addiction of lack of, self-harm, self-abuse, which is what alcoholism is, drugs, addictions, they're self-abuse because you don't feel the care and the love that you should have. But it's up to you to give that to you. Don't wait for anybody. Don't rely on anyone. You are the mother and the father within. And you are also the sacred child that gets to renew yourself. So do that for yourself. Give yourself permission. You don't wait for anybody. You get up now and you show up. You show up for you. You will no longer gauge your self-worth on a home or salvaging yourself to owe dramatically for a home, right? Some of us back in the day, well, where do you live? What address do you live at? And that was your value. That's how we compromise the inner self to the outer self. We're not going to chase roles and titles. The badges of honor that we hold now are transcending addiction, transcending the wounds that we don't offer it to another. We're going to heal ourselves in the moment. And that takes great courage. That's a badge of honor that nobody can take from you. God knows how much work you put in. God knows when you say, I'm going to do better today, Spirit. I'm going to do better. I'm going to say more kind words today, Spirit. Spirit hears everything. When I was going for my walk today, I was chanting and I said, I know I can do better and feel better and feel happier, Spirit. I'm going to feel happier today. And Spirit said, just acknowledge how much you've done. Like you're talking 700 years where 700 lifetimes didn't make it. They succumbed to having someone control them, having someone abuse them, or breaking into addiction, or them being the perpetrator or them being the victim all over again. So truly think about how profound this lifetime is. And each person has the ability, everybody has the ability. Every single person has the ability to do it for themselves. There's enough information. There's enough teachers and healers. There's no need for crime. And those that are creating crime that might come across this video or other videos out there, everybody has the opportunity and the choice to create a business that is not harming another. There's always ways that you can create in ways that don't harm people in any way. Taking money from the innocent, taking the innocent from the innocent, manipulating through energy or resources, mental or emotional. They are deep, deep soul wounds. And I won't allow another generation to go through it. I'm going to get up every day. Every day I will get up and I will rise and I will sing and I will create. Because that's pretty fucking great. It's pretty profound. Many lifetimes, and you will keep going, and each wave will be offering you new codes, and all things will change again and again. These waves will get easier, and they'll have more joy. So just relax and ride the wave. Ride the wave of these codes through your own self-acceptance and find greater ease within yourself. You don't have to perform for anyone. You don't have to validate yourself to anyone. You don't have to share what you don't want to share. Your voice and your body and your experiences are uniquely yours, and Spirit knows all. Spirit knows every moment that you pray and you speak with God in gentle ways and speak to others in gentle ways. even though they've probably done horrible things to you. Spirit knows that love creates, and you will be lifted. You'll be lifted. And there's always, always, always ways for people to change, to wake up the next morning and say, I'm not going to do that anymore. It's just taking so much from my soul, and I want to be able to be at peace. Nothing is more profound than inner peace. Let me tell you that. Because you'll have your peace, and that peace will create health and wellness and eternal light and eternal youth. And the hand from the heavens, however it may be offered, whether it's a Pleiadian, a Sirian, a light ship, or elementals, or beautiful Gaia, or somebody that is in like vibration, will come and offer you that profound doorway and portal that is truthful, that is with integrity. And Spirit will always want you to be tested, because that's how you grow firmer in who you are. So be okay with the tests, be okay with the bumps, and just ride the wave. That's how you navigate. That's mastery. But when you center in Spirit, take a deep breath. Call in codes. We're going to do some light language here. Call in breath and call in codes. Calling in the highest self, or calling in all soul fragments that might be in disarray right now, Spirit. And through breath, we call in the breath of light and intention. I call in the breath of who I am. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I'm calling in the soul of who I am. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Through the power and the wisdom of my soul, for my soul is all that I am. I am that I am, and nothing can corrupt, nothing can sway, and nothing can thwart who I am as a spirit, for I am one with Spirit. In every cell of my body, in every vibration, that I am, that I am, I am, that I am. And call up for new codes. I call up for new codes of love and light. One more breath. I call up for new codes in love and light, and see your aura, see your vibration being cleansed with rainbow light. Bathed with rainbow crystalline light, crystalline light, crystalline light, nourishing and satisfying every cell, every organ. I breathe in the crystalline light. Thank you, Holy Spirit. My bodies is cleansed and cleared. My fields are cleansed and cleared. My bodies are cleansed and cleared. My fields are cleansed and cleared. I am light, 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 I am light. So we're going to do a light language to release any densities or any fears or any anxieties that are in your field. And just when you're breathing in and out, see the beautiful pillar of light. It's a crystalline pillar that goes up and down the spine, beautiful spine. I see these beautiful crystalline sparks go like little lights. Lights when they get turned on, the Christmas lights, they go one by one. Crystalline lights bathing you in beautiful, beautiful crystalline light. And your angels are standing in a circle around you, calling in your shamans, calling in your angelics, giving authority and power to release any energies or entities that are in your space, in your room, or in your house that need to be going and on their way, please. If they're not holding the vibration love, they need to leave your space now, your bodies now, your fields now. Leave now, 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 now. If they do not hold the vibration of love, leave now, now, now. You are in command of your body. You are in commandment of your space. Thank you. The highest vibration is love, and love will allow all to be seen. Love is light, and light is love. I am a katadeka, la 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 katadeka, la la la, shianadeka. I am a katadeka, siana katadeka. I am a katadeka, siama isiama kitideke na ayanamaka. So there was some energy there. Now we're clearing out some older stagnant energies from the galactic centers, from where we found liftoff. Some energies that had warped. Some galactic landing spaces that used to be held at Peru in the ancient times. And so we're clearing away those energies of those of us that were in those Peruvian times. Galactic centers coming down. There were very powerful portals of beautiful galactic energy gateways that were loving and beautiful, and that were thwarted by, again, control of space and control of time and space and all of those things that are in the past timelines. And that many of are feeling the sensations of those that you deal with that are having troubles with control or feeling themselves in control of you or your path, or feeling in control of who you are around and who you are with. And so just creating the affirmations that you are a sovereign being of love and light, and nobody and no thing has control over you or of you, that your space and your consciousness belong to you. And just releasing those old timelines to spirit. I release any timelines that are in my consciousness, awareness, and even that which I don't, that needs to come forth for me to acknowledge. I acknowledge what I've been through in various roles of control or victimhood, and I choose to release these now, spirit, body, mind, heart, and soul, and I release them now to the Holy Creator. And every day I practice to be in constancy of love and stability and healing and empowerment. I choose to inspire those that I cross every day, and knowing that everybody before me is a lesson and a blessing. For I choose divine relationship, and I choose the divinehood of who I am. I choose who I am as a divine being of holy light. And I know that I radiate. They're now showing me all the beautiful light ships and the quadrants of space that they were showing me, and how much we are adored and loved. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you, Holy Spirit. When we're up with them and we're dancing and playing with them on the light ships and the many groups and councils that each of us belong to, and why we feel the urge to start beginning these new experiences. What did they say? That was really fun. Just before we go, I wanted to just send that to you, those of you that are excited about first contact. Anything from you. Oh, we are not so far removed, so let go and feel the waves of change. Like a roller coaster that is meant to shake out the doldrums, you will all feel the excitements as your new posts, the excitements of your new posts. So each of you will be moving and changing and shifting to new places that will be in better alignment of your vibration. And because you have to have those vibrational shakeups in the areas that you live within to release the stagnant energies. So if you've been in a certain place for a really long time and you don't feel like anything is happening, you've been feeling the sensation you have to move, then it's a good idea to move, because that energy has to move. That energy has to transmute. And the only way to do that is to move. You got to move the energy. And so how, again, we've talked about before, is daily self-care, moving your body in different ways and healing and clearing and being one with your multidimensional bodies. How you're being in motion with your bodies and clearing that energy out is so important, so that you can carry greater light, you can process greater light, you can integrate greater light. So your new posts and your new self missions all will be at new levels of mastery. So you're going to be moving up again, as we said, we're going into these sheaths of vibrational excellence of ourselves. And so that's really wonderful. So feel the excitements of your new posts, your posts, like where you were, your commandment post, I guess, and your self mission. So what is it? Maybe do some beautiful journaling tonight out on the grass. Go find a nice place to sit, or maybe in your backyard. Create these beautiful sanctuaries and these beautiful altars in nature, and these beautiful experiences, so you can create that self mission. Where is my new post? Where am I being called to? Where's the energy going to fit for me? And really set those intentions. I'm going to have a beautiful house, and then state the intention, state it with affirmation, state it with intention, state it with knowing, and feel into the vibration of having fun in those new posts, of meeting great tribe, of being of equal integrity, of equal commandmentship, so that you're supporting one another. And all of these things simply manifest and unfold. That's the creation of now, because our energies are going to be supporting it. And anything that's shaking up to be seen is meant to. So just know it. Everybody has a part to play in wanting all of the things unseen to be seen, so that we can rewrite it and we can make it anew. So you're meant to be a part of powerful change. So grab it with great excitement. You're here for a reason. And we love you, dear lighted ones. We wish you beautiful love and light. And we're saying goodbye and thank you for all of the beings that are always with us. Anybody that would like to donate to our progress and our evolutionary ascension programs and our illustrations, we thank you so very much. We're part of the Galactic Federation and many of the star councils that walk with Joanna. And we thank you so very much. We wish you well and good peace and tidings. Thank you and blessings. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thank you. We are a manifestation of you all. Thank you. We thank you so much. Thank you, Holy Spirit. So we wish you love and rainbow kisses, dear lighted ones. And we love you so very much. Rainbow kisses.